Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. Now, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voters, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. If you're really about standing up to corruption and holding our elected leaders accountable, well, we ask that you subscribe to our social media platforms. We could be found now under 3 social media platforms that we ask that you subscribe to. You can subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube. You can subscribe to the Frankie Olivo page on Facebook. And also now, today, starting today, moving forward, we will be streaming live on X, formerly known as Twitter. I have posted the link. Make sure you subscribe to all of our pages, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. Once again, we could be found under Frankie Olivo on Facebook, Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube, and also this link. We're now live on X. And always remember, Brownsville, I am forever, ever grateful for the time and attention that you provide to me and our platform. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Monday. We're in the middle of July. The island is crazy. It seems as if everyone is still on vacation mode. People keep on asking me, when does it all get, picked back up again? I said, well, you got to be patient. Everything kicks back up in late July, early August, back to reality. Many people, if we talk about BISD, BISD being the largest employer in our area, they start trickling in next week. Teachers start getting ready for back to school, which starts on August the 11th. It's only the politicos. And those in those circles that are always on point. But nonetheless, we will be coming on to you Monday through Friday as long as you let me. As long as I have 1 or 2 people on live, we will come on. And once again, thank you so much for that, Brownsville. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about something that happened over the weekend. We titled our program Lost at Sea. We did have 2 tragic set of events that occurred in our local area in South Padre, Boca Chica Beach. Very, very sad news, but that's our reality. And we wanted to talk a little bit about that in more detail. And that is how we will start today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville.
But first this weekend and happening now, the Coast Guard is searching for a missing man. It comes after officials say a shrimp boat flipped upside down in the water near the LNG facility at the Port of Brownsville. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Sarah Savannah. The call came in around 7 this morning. Authorities say that 2 men from the Brownsville area were on board at the time. One man, Joaquin Perez, was rescued without any injuries, but a second man, Eduardo Perez, is still missing. He was last seen wearing black shorts and a blue shirt. The Brownsville Fire Department and the Texas Parks and Wildlife are also helping. The Coast Guard says that they've already searched over 55 nautical miles. We'll keep you posted.
Border Patrol agent drowned saving his children at the beach this afternoon. Border Patrol confirmed and identified the agent as 37-year-old Eric Cespedes from San Benito. Beachgoers helped Cespedes bring his daughter to shore. 4 other people brought him to shore, but he was unresponsive. South Padre Island Beach Patrol continued CPR, but despite their efforts, he was pronounced dead at a local hospital. Just a short while ago, Border Patrol spokesperson talked to us about Cespedes and his family.
Very, very hard worker. Well loved by all, and we offer our most sincere condolences to his wife, to his children, his mother, his siblings, everybody, and especially to our family.
Condolences are pouring in right now on social media. RGB Border Patrol Secretary Chief Gloria Chavez releasing this statement tonight to CBS 4 saying, quote, he was a protector both in uniform and at home, and his final act was that of a hero and a testament to the unwavering love he carried for his children and family. Obviously, this is a story that we're going to continue bringing you updates on as funeral services have yet to be talked about right now. Again, we're going to keep you updated both on air and online at valleycentral.com.
The water, to many of us, is a way for us to relax. For as long as we can remember, the beaches have always been a destination area for us to relax. It comes to mind, many great memories that we've all have gone through. We've been raised here in an area, a beautiful area, and we're very fortunate to have this treasure close to us. The realities of life are very daunting. I remember growing up when I was 14, 15, I always thought that I was going to live forever. It seems as if the older we get, the more we realize that death is certain. And growing up, I always thought that I was going to live until I was 80 or 90. I felt like Gilgamesh, an individual that was strong. I was never gonna. I think maybe because we're young and dumb and we think we're immortal. But once the years pass, once we see our loved ones pass away, once we see our friends who are our age pass away, we realize that the realities of life are very real. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would lose people or that people would be gone at a young age. There's a saying that goes, live life to the fullest because you never know when that day will come. And it's been a phrase that I've used and I never really understood it. And as we all know, death, unfortunately, has no respect for age, has no respect for social classes. At the end of the day, we were born into this world, and eventually, we're going to leave this world. Growing up, I've always been somebody that I've always planned out my life. I've been disappointed in the way things have turned out. And that has caused me to be, I don't know, depressed, upset at myself. I remember when I got married, I said, look, this is the way my life's going to turn out. And it didn't happen that way for whatever reason. I guess we are at fault for our own actions. When I think of South Padre, when I think of the island, I think of beauty. I think of peace. I think of tranquility. And that is a reason why many people like to venture out to the island. Now, if you're young, maybe you think of partying. Maybe you think of spring break, of desmadre. But to many people, being by the ocean brings some sort of tranquility, brings us peace. We see a lot of people out that possibly go out to the beach and sunbathe. They're reading a book. You and I can agree. We love going out to the island. We love going out to the beach. Many people have different reasons. Some are surfers. Some like to go and look at the turtles. Here, we're fortunate in our area that we have a community that follows birds. And on South Padre Island is a destination for many birds. Now, because of SpaceX, it seems as if everyone knows where South Padre is. And not that they didn't know before, but now people from all over the world know this. This past weekend, something very tragic happened. Life, unfortunately, will never be the same for two families from different walks of life. But this is our reality, ladies and gentlemen. Death is almost certain. It seems as if that string that we call life, each day as it passes, is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And one day, we will meet our Maker. Unfortunately, for two individuals this past weekend, they did not think that what they were doing was eventually going to lead to their demise. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit more because this is something that we've been hearing a lot as of late. Not too long ago, we're mid-July, in mid to late June, we had another drowning at South Padre. What can we say is the reason for this? Well, there's many reasons. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we had the Coast Guard working overnight, and it suspended its search for a missing fisherman. This happened at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. They got a call at 7 in the morning. So for 12 hours, they were searching. The Coast Guard received a phone call of a shrimp boat that was sinking near the LNG plant that is located at the Port of Brownsville. Rescue services were quick to render their services to start looking for this individual. The shrimp boat had two people on board. One of the passengers You can see the boat here on the screen. It capsized. While that shrimp boat had 2 passengers, only 1 was rescued. And as they were taking out that man from that boat, they asked him, how many people are on board? He told them, there's a second passenger, my comrade, and he needs to be rescued. The man, we're not releasing his name because that still has not been made public. And as we all know, usually the authorities, they do not release the name until the first of kin, until their loved ones are contacted. And we will show respect to the family and to the fishermen by not disclosing the name as of late, as of right now. This man is a Hispanic, approximately 6 feet tall. He weighs 240, 250. He was last seen wearing black shorts and a blue shirt. The rescue team, they responded. They sent out 2 small rescue boats, a 33 and a 27-foot vessel. There was a helicopter in the air that was frantically searching for this man. Those of us on the island, those of us going through Highway 48, we heard this. And it bothered us because we said, something's wrong. Something's not right. A dive team was also sent out in search of the missing man. Cameron County was present. Their leaders, they sent out land and marine units to assist with this search rescue. After 12 hours of searching frantically, they called off the search. It's scary because these individuals were experienced. They've had many years as fishermen. Now, while we still don't know the reasons why this fishing boat capsized, one thing that's very troubling is, why was only 1 man rescued? What happened? Were they not aware? Did they hit something? Again, this was in the middle of the ocean by the port. I've always questioned this because my thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, my thoughts after LNG and SpaceX came here, I thought that the fishing and shrimping industry was going to be affected severely by this. When we talk about our local ecosystem, our endangered species, I think we all can agree that life before LNG and SpaceX was different. We had a thriving fishing and shrimping economy. We have, or had, local marisquera, local seafood restaurants that would buy from these fishermen. They were proud to say that that their food came straight from the Gulf. After LNG, after SpaceX, I thought that this was something that was going to go away, that was not going to be as thriving. Now, are there still people out there that that are still in this industry? Yes, and we did hear that that their services, I don't want to say were no longer needed, but their profession was severely impacted by SpaceX, by LNG, because of the commotion. We have heard and seen how SpaceX has been dumping a bunch of crap into the waters. Is that contaminating our fishes, our shrimp? I believe so. We heard that many people, many business owners, many entrepreneurs here locally were now resorting to farm-raised shrimp. That's something that's not new, but unheard of for our area. Why? Because the water's right there. So when I heard about this, I said, well, I guess there is people. I guess there is people that are still trying to make a living. And we don't fault them for that. At the end of the day, many people, and look, if you are around people from Port Isabel, I would say 90-95% of them, that's all they know. The fishing industry. For many years, that has been a staple for that community. It's been as of late, and we could attribute this to inflation, gas prices going through the roof. That caused many business owners with multiple boats not being able to work. Now we add the ramifications, the effects that SpaceX and LNG has. It's like a double, triple whammy for them. It's not a good thing for them. When I first heard of the rescue team searching for these individuals, I was kind of shocked. Because again, in my mind, I don't want to say that LNG and SpaceX kind of depleted the fishing industry, but that's the idea that I had. And again, I'm not very in tune with people. I do know individuals who are avid fishermen, shrimpers, who do go out to sea for weeks on end. But I thought it was just strange how they were still working. And again, we don't fault them for that. At the end of the day, they're just trying to make a living. And on that same day, ladies and gentlemen, we had another individual that drowned in the water. Now, the loss of life, it doesn't matter whether that person is young or old. That life is still very valuable. It doesn't matter that one was a fisherman and this one is a federal agent. A life is a life. I think us as human beings, we have a soft spot for children. in the sense of we had a tragic event here in Brownsville last month where a 4-year-old died after being left in a vehicle for 5-6 hours. And this tragedy really moved the community because it was a child. But nonetheless, you and I can agree that the loss of life, whether they're young or old, is just as important. The loss of life is just as important whether this individual was of low, middle, or high class. It doesn't matter if he was a fisherman. It doesn't matter if he was a federal agent. To us, a life is a life. And we grieve and we think about those families that got that frantic phone call. And in this case, with this Border Patrol agent, his family was there watching him. Border Patrol agents, I'm very proud of my cousin, Georgie, who was recently promoted. And we're very fond of law enforcement officials. They risk their lives day in and day out for the safety and well-being of our community. And I'm very proud of my cousin. He was recently promoted, and that speaks volumes of his character. That speaks volumes of his hard work. We're very proud of you, Georgie. Our men and women in uniform, they risk their lives daily. If you talk about a police officer, they're protecting and serving our city. If we talk about our Border Patrol, Customs, our federal agents, they protect and serve our borders. Their main focus is national security. A Supervisory U.S. Border Patrol agent, he drowned at South Padre while saving his children. This happened on Friday around 2:30 p.m. Emergency services received a phone call of a swimmer that was in distress. It was said that Agent Eric Cespedes, age 38, of San Benito, he was near the first sandbar attempting to pull his children who were caught in a strong rip current. Bystanders, they helped bring his children to shore, while others carried Cespedes out. CPR was done on the agent by bystanders and by the South Padre Island Beach Patrol. The agent was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The agent served his country and his community for 17 years in the United States Border Patrol Rio Grande Valley sector. This is a very tragic event that happened. This individual took his kids for a day of fun. A day that was planned to be out of the water, to make memories, quickly turned into a tragic, tragic day. It hits close to home because, one, he was a local. He was doing what any of us would have done. We take our loved ones to the beach. We want them to relax. That's what summer is all about, right? Never did they imagine, did he imagine, did his family imagine that they wouldn't make it back home. I wanted to talk about these stories because it seems as if we just read the stories online and it's just another, oh well. We grieve for their families of the fishermen and of the federal agent who will have sleepless nights. Their loved one is no longer here. While we understand and comprehend that death is a part of life, we don't understand the reasons why things happen the way they do. The federal agent's story is one in which we can all relate to. We don't realize that being out in the water is dangerous. Just last year, we had a shark attack. And whenever I think of sharks, ladies and gentlemen, I think of shark attacks deep in the ocean, where you have to be in the middle of the sea. Well, this shark attack happened in waters that were knee high. Reports of the federal agent's children, the report stated that they were located at the first sandbar. Me personally, I don't like to venture out too deep. I'm not a great swimmer. Federal agents, while they don't predominantly spend their time in the water, unless you're on the river, on a boat. But we would think that they would be given classes or they would know how to swim. But the thing is that whenever you get into a rip current, it's tough. And then imagine he was trying to keep his two babies, his two children, up high so they can get some air. And if we could visualize that frantic day on Friday, he was possibly on land, on the sand, and he looked and he saw his kids in distress and he ran towards them. That's what parents do. Parents don't think, parents just react. If they see that their baby is in trouble, that they need help, they run. They don't think about it. They don't think about their well-being. They think of theirs. Now, while swimming in the ocean, it can be refreshing and fun, it comes with several potential risks. And these risks vary depending on location, weather, the time of the year, the experience of the swimmer. But natural hazards are very real here in South Padre with the rip currents that are strong. They're narrow currents that they can pull one swimmer away from the shore quickly. The thing about this is that they're often hard to spot. You can't tell when or where there is a rip current. Remember, large or unexpected waves, they can knock you down, they can cause you injury, they can drag you deeper into the water. Even strong swimmers, ladies and gentlemen, they can be overwhelmed by currents or even exhaustion. It's a sad, sad day for the Cespedes family. He had his family there present. Imagine his children, of them having to relive that moment. The beautiful thing about this is, and if we could find something beautiful, is that this man is a hero. Now, while we don't possibly see it, or we don't possibly think about it, our men and women in uniform, they are heroes. I was part of Leadership Brownsville. Forget what class. Forget what class. And part of that class, we had a day. Leadership Brownsville meets once a week, I believe on Tuesdays or Thursdays. And the good thing about Leadership Brownsville is that they take you throughout different organizations, different entities within the city, and how they contribute to the betterment of our community. We got to go see nonprofits such as the Good Neighbor Settlement Home. And we saw firsthand how people genuinely who care about our community are giving back with their time, with their resources, with their money. They help the homeless. But one day during Leadership Brownsville, that day was public safety. And it was my responsibility that I had to ride with a cop for, I think it was several hours. We had to meet a certain limit. I'm not sure if it was 8 hours, 10 hours. While I wasn't part of high-speed chases or reported to any robberies or any murder cases, I did see firsthand of the rigors of what our men and women in uniform with a badge have to go through. They are our heroes. They risk their lives on a daily basis. They see things that are unimaginable. I rode around with an officer, and he was called to a house in which an individual, I think they call them 95ers, was not in his capacities. He had mental issues. And this officer, when he got the report, when he got the call to go to a certain address, he's like, I know this address. I know this man, and I can tell you what he's doing right now. And sure enough, we got off. Exactly what he said was happening. This Border Patrol agent, Mr. Cespedes, was a hero, not just in uniform, not just in his profession, but he showed it in a way that any parent would do. They say that a mother and a father would do anything for their children. And when I say anything, it's anything. They'll protect them against anything that wants to harm them. Parents do not think, they react, and they're quick to react. And that is the case here that we have with our agent. Agent Cespedes was a hero with and without a uniform. And he showed his baby girls that he was willing to die for them. And those are very strong words. But we know that's reality. We know that if our parents had the opportunity to give their life for ours, they would do it. There's no question that we would give our lives for our loved ones. No questions asked. You wouldn't think about it. Just done. That is a love that a parent has for their offspring, for their children. It's a very sad weekend because we had two individuals that perished. Two individuals that were out at sea. One was working. One was trying to make a living. And fishing, you know, the fishing industry is a very difficult business. It carries several significant risks, ranging from environmental conditions, equipment failure, medical emergencies, weather hazards, man overboard, I don't know, dangerous animals getting lost. And when you think about it, being out in the middle of the water, it comes with limited emergency support. If you're in the middle of the sea, it's going to take a while for support to come, for medical services to come. What if there was a fire? What if there was a leak? What if there is human error? Our community lost two individuals this weekend. And it doesn't matter what social class they were, what age they were. At the end of the day, a life is a life. I don't want to sound corny when I say this, but make sure you hug your loved ones. Make sure you let them know that you love them. The realities of life are very real. I grew up thinking I was going to live forever. I was strong. I was dumb. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that death was a reality. The older we get, the more we realize that death is coming. These individuals did not think that their day was coming on this weekend, but it came. If you have loved ones, make sure you let them know that you care for them. Make sure you hug them. Because in this world that we live, we're here today. And we're gone tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville.